Good morning. You're listening to AVNewsCast.com on NewsTalk 1380. It's October 30th, one day before we don't have Operation Boot.
One day before we don't have Operation Boot. Well, we've got a great show planned for today, okay? Really great show. In studio, we've got Palmdale Mayor James Ledford. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, everybody.
Yes, sir.
On the line, we've got Assemblyman Steve Fox. Assemblyman Fox, are you with us?
Yes.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, Steve.
Good to see. Good to hear from you.
Steve, if you didn't hear the beginning of the show, Mayor Ledford's here in studio with us as well.
Okay.
Okay. Today's show is completely devoted to serial rapist Christopher Hubbart, who is due to be released from a Tascatero mental hospital and actually tentatively set to be relocated to the Antelope Valley, more specifically Lake L.A., with a Palmdale zip code. Assemblyman Fox, what are your thoughts on this? I understand that your office has received hundreds and hundreds of calls and emails.
We've received approximately 800 emails. Obviously, both to myself and to the community, this is of serious concern. My feeling is that some people cannot be cured and should not be released. It's not just about keeping them in jail, it's about keeping our safe streets for the rest of us.
Well, a lot of people applaud that, and Mayor Ledford, you pretty much take the same position.
I'm right there with him, absolutely. I can't imagine how anybody could rationalize this guy should be released. Right. What the heck's going on? Are we in a parallel universe?
We know people out there, though, that his rights trump the rights of a family member. Yeah. I don't understand that. I can't get that his rights are more important than the people that have never hurt anybody.
It's the new world. The new world.
So, Assemblyman Fox, what do we do to make Santa Clara Judge Brown sit up and listen to the residents of the community of the Antelope Valley and L.A. County that we don't want this individual here?
Well, I think a group of us are going to take a busload of constituents out there to let him know. But more important, my office has been in contact with the governor's office yesterday.
Great.
That's the kind of power we need.
That's it.
That's
and
it.
We're asking him not to release him. That's number one. Number two, I think for the future, the problem is Jessica's laws and the other laws say that these type of people have to be 2,000 feet away from a school or a daycare center. And the problem is because we have open spaces, the Antelope Valley is a target, and that's wrong. Why should we get dumped on? This individual made his first crime in Pasadena. Send him there, or send him where the judge lives so he can feel it.
Right.
Yeah. Or, look, his last rape was in San Jose, Clara County. Why don't we send him back to San Jose? Why should we get dumped on it? He shouldn't be out in the first place, and if he's out, it shouldn't be with us.
Well, under what grounds could the governor keep him in if he's theoretically done his time and he's cured, finger quote?
Find something.
There's a couple things. Number one, the hospital should never have released him. They had the power to keep him. That's number one, so the state hospital. So we're putting pressure on the governor to put pressure on the hospital. Number two, I'd like to add another layer that if the hospital and the court say he's okay, maybe the governor has to give him a parole, or the parole department has to say, we don't think he's safe enough. Let's put some other layers in there so he can't be let out.
Right.
Yeah, I'm there.
Well, that's a lot better. Now, they say that this will be, he was the first individual in California history to actually be sentenced and prosecuted under the SVP law, which basically, he is the most dangerous. And they say he's going to be the most monitored individual that's ever been released from prison or a hospital in the history of the state of California.
Why should we as taxpayers reward him by seeing that he has housing and see that he has security for what he did? He shouldn't be rewarded for what he did. He should be punished.
Right. What's even more frustrating to me, Assemblyman Fox, is that because he's being released from a mental hospital, we have to provide him with health care. Oh. And it is that very health care that will pay for his housing.
Really?
No, I think what we should do is set certain areas of the desert far away from people and drop them there. If they can survive, that's up to them. But, just or take a prison and let him be housed in a prison. Why house him near the rest of us? What did we do to deserve that?
Right.
Why can't we use some of these bases that were closed down? I mean, they have great facilities there. They have areas where there can be industry, where they could do things, earn a paycheck. They have golf courses. I mean, they have nice housing. They have shopping areas and everything, but they can have their own little community there that's got triple razor wire fencing around it, and they don't have to be around the rest of us.
And I agree. And I think part of the problem is that the liberal courts, who are now forcing us to release under the concept of cruel and unusual punishment. They're forcing us to release prisoners into society. That's cruel and unusual to us.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The court should start considering what the people who are innocent have, our rights.
You think?
These bases are good enough for our boys and girls in the military. Why can't they be good enough for...
I agree. That'll be
These
one
offenders.
option we're going to look into. We're not going to let this one rest because this isn't the only prisoner that's going to get dumped or has been dumped in the Antelope Valley.
I mean, they can go ahead and have potlucks. They can do everything that anybody else does. They just do it away from us.
I agree.
Right. Now, also in studio, and we haven't brought him on yet, it is Assemblyman Fox's Vladimir Gomez, who started the actual petition online with change.org. That's already over 1,000 signatures.
Yay. Good work.
All right, and Vladimir last night was on CNN talking about this very topic as well.
Yes.
I spoke to him last night. I agree with him. I think all of us working together should let the courts know, our legislators know. This is a bad thing. And when I get back to Sacramento, when the legislature unfortunately is not going to open until January 6th, we're going to look at what we can do to convince the other ones. De facto, the way the law was written, our area of the county is the one that's getting dumped on, and that's not fair. They
Right.
shouldn't be released at all. They definitely shouldn't be released with us.
Right, but he's tentatively set to be released very shortly, so,
Well, there's a court hearing on December 4th in San Jose, and I think a bunch of us are going to try to go up there and let our opinions be known. The other thing that we've come up with, the law says he can't be within 2,000 feet of a school or daycare center. So what I offered last night to the Lake LA residents, if they find someone who's living near them, we'll help expedite their child care license so that he can no longer live where they're putting him.
Oh, I like that. Or we could build a pocket park. I'll even help fund that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I'll get some sod.
I would even do that. Well, Assemblyman Fox, keep us apprised of whatever it is that you're going to do to assist us with this. And
And thank you so much for taking it on.
Yeah.
I will, and
Good work.
I commend Mayor Ledford as well, and I think together maybe we can stop this individual from being here.
Absolutely.
right now, John and Ken from KFI are going to be out there live today with their satellite truck from 3 to 7.
So I've been told.
Okay. Okay. Well, we'll be out there with him as well.
Good.
Thank you, Assemblyman Fox.
Thanks
You're
a
welcome.
lot.
Thanks.
Take care.
We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to AV Newscast on NewsTalk Radio 1380, the number one NewsTalk radio program in the Antelope Valley. Stand by. We'll be right back, and we're going to bring on Senator Steve Knight to talk about this.
This is Jim Ledford, Mayor of the City of Palmdale, asking for your support on November 5th to vote for and elect Palmdale First candidates Joan Sodergan, Linda Jones, John Curiel for the West Side School Board, Barbara Gaines for the Antelope Valley College Board, John Hutek and Michael Dutton for the Antelope Valley High School Board, Sandy Corrales, Jeffrey Farron, and Carol Stanford for the Palmdale School District, and Tom Lackey and Fred Thompson for the Palmdale City Council. Paid for by Jim Ledford for Mayor 2013, Committee ID number 920686. My name is Jim Ledford, and I approve this message.
But the job of the school board is to protect the quality of our schools. So why did the Lancaster School Board put our students' education on the chopping block? The Lancaster School Board claimed they had a huge deficit, so they demanded 6 furlough days a year for 3 years, days our kids should have been in school. Their actions crushed morale in the district and threatened to impact every child's classroom experience. But then the school board turned around and gave our superintendent a substantial raise. In last year's election, the Lancaster School Board did not support Proposition 30, which restored funds to our school. Let's face it, our school board has the wrong priorities. Let's demand a change in leadership in the school board election this Tuesday, November 5th, so it never happens again. Vote for a trusted team of experienced leaders, Sandy Price, Bill Buck, and John Rosario for Lancaster School Board. If you don't vote for your children's future, who will? Paid for by the Teachers Association of Lancaster Political Action Committee.
This is Jim Ledford, Mayor of the City of Palmdale, asking for your vote and support to re-elect Tom Lackey and elect Fred Thompson, former Planning Commission Chairman, to the Palmdale City Council. They are our Palmdale First candidates, and putting Palmdale first is their number one priority. On November 5th, please vote for and elect Tom Lackey and Fred Thompson to the Palmdale City Council. Paid for by Jim Ledford for Mayor 2013, Committee ID number 920-686. My name is Jim Ledford, and I approve this message.
Vote for my daddy on November 5th. You know why? Because you put back music and arts and sports. Please vote for my daddy. Please get the most vote. Because to put back music and arts back in the schools. Goodbye.
Who's that kid? That kid is Justin Moffitt, age 6, who is a prodigy student of the Palmdale School District, and Jeffrey and Star Moffitt are the proud parents to Justin. Jeffrey Moffitt, tax attorney and candidate for the Palmdale School Board. Moffitt wants your vote on November 5th. Why? Because your vote, Moffitt, will restore after-school programs such as music, arts, and sports back into the Palmdale School District to prepare students with becoming globally competitive. Vote for Moffitt on November 5th. Why? Because Moffitt believes students are first before politics. Why? Because Moffitt is the most qualified. Your Moffitt vote is your voice to ensure your child will not be left behind. Moffitt is the people's choice. Moffitt on November 5th.
Welcome back to AVNewsCast.com on NewsTalk 1380.
And we are live. We've got Mayor Ledford in studio,
Yes,
and
sir.
we're going to bring on Senator Steve Knight. Senator Knight, good morning. You with us?
Yeah, is it Steve?
It is. How are you, sir?
Good. Good morning.
Good morning. We've got Mayor Jim Ledford in the studio as well.
Good morning, Senator.
Hello, Jim. How are you?
Wonderful. Good to see you. Or good to hear you.
Understand
I'm
Steve
on,
was...
I'm
Understand
in
Steve...
my car because I'm on my way over to a school tour, but I think I can hear you real well.
Okay. Last night you were out in Lake L.A. Were you at the community meeting last night?
Absolutely. Yeah, there was, I would say there was probably 90 to 100 people there, and the Assemblyman and I were there answering questions and listening to the folks out there.
Okay, well, a lot of them are listening to the show. Assemblyman Fox was on a couple of minutes ago, and he mentioned that he's trying to get in touch with the governor and making contact there on something that could be done from keeping this individual from moving to the Antelope Valley or L.A. County. Your thoughts?
Or being released.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, obviously no one wants him released, but the Antelope Valley has become some sort of a dumping ground. And if you remember about a year and a half, 2 years ago, there was another one of these people that was going to be dumped out here, and we were successful in fighting that back. I think it was Dan Schwartz or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So we're still fighting this. I sent a letter about a week ago off to the judge, and we've been in contact with the Department of Hospitals and the governor's office, CDCR. Pretty much everyone has gotten a phone call from me in the last 4 or 5 days. And a lot of that is just voicing our concern. One is we're tired of taking these people, and two, we do not want this person, and we don't believe he should be released.
No.
There you go.
There are, this is a great example of the entire community of the Antelope Valley, not just elected officials, but everybody in the Antelope Valley coming together for a common cause.
Well, and that was one of the things that we talked about last night. There were some petitions and letters being circulated, and I said, anyone you know, have them send a letter. I don't care if they live in the Antelope Valley. Have them send a letter, and that's the way that we get our voice out there. Obviously, we want everyone in the Antelope Valley to do this, but it's kind of typical of what's going on. And these judges think that if I do this to a community and they never say anything, well, heck, I can do it to them again.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we need to be very vocal on this. I'm very happy the Assemblyman's on and the mayor of Palmdale is on. This is a very serious issue, not just to Lake L.A., but to everyone who lives in the Antelope Valley. And I'm glad to hear this.
There's buses, so anybody's up for grabs.
Well, absolutely. These are very violent, very sick individuals, and we certainly don't want them living next to us.
Right.
Also in studio, but he's not mic'd up yet, is Vladimir Gomez. Vladimir actually began the online petition with Change.org, which is already which already got 1,000 signatures. And he was actually on CNN last night.
Yes, I was.
Absolutely. I appreciate everything Vladimir's doing. That's the kind of initiative we need,
Yep.
to make sure that we get our voice out there and we get as many people involved. A lot of people, if they don't listen to the radio or read the paper or something like that, they might not even know this is happening. That's why we need to be very vocal.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, we brought a lot of attention to it. John and Ken from KFI have brought a lot of attention to it. They're going to be up here live from 3 to 7 today.
Right.
ABC World News has talked about this. CNN is talking about this. Obviously, the LA Times has been talking about this. So we brought a lot of attention to it. And with our state elected officials, with you, Senator Knight, and Assemblyman Fox, now we can actually take it up to Sacramento as well.
Absolutely, and I've talked to the Assemblyman about legislation in the future. This is horrid what they're doing to our valley,
Right.
And we've got to make some sort of a change. If we talk about the difference between us and many other communities, there's not a lot of difference other than we've got open space and we can fit these types of places in between schools and parks. So they think this is a dumping ground, but it's not fair to our residents.
It's tucked out of the way. It's out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
Yeah, but we're not quiet.
No, by no means.
There's a problem.
Yeah, by no means.
Yeah.
No, I think it's great because, these people shouldn't be let out at all. And that's why when I copied Vladimir's post on change.org, my comment was, you need to sign it because your neighborhood could be next.
That's right.
Because if we eliminate ourselves as Antelope Valley as being an option, then they're going to be looking out for the next town and the next town and the next town. So they just need to not be released altogether.
Right.
Right. This is like Charlie Manson.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you can't rewire him. He's just, it's broken.
Come on.
It's just completely broken.
You didn't mention Michelle's offer.
No. Oh, I got a phone call. Okay, I'll mention it now, though. I got a phone call this morning from Michelle Egberts, who heads up the AV Eastern Kern Second Chance, yada, 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 who said, I can save all the residents of L.A. County and the Antelope Valley from any problems here. I'll go ahead and put my house up, and I will allow him to move into my residence.
Oh, brother.
Well,
But we don't want him released.
yeah, let's think about that for a second. I'm tired of people saying that, hey, if I do it in my house, it is okay. You know what? Your house is right next to my house.
Right.
There you go.
That's the problem I have. He's not going to just stay in his house. Good gosh, he has proven that he is a mentally ill, sick individual. I don't want him next door to me, even if he's in your house.
Right.
Right. It's much better if we just keep him in the mental hospital.
Well, it's that kind of mindset that's out there, though. That's part of the reason this type of individual is being released.
Right.
Yeah.
You got people that actually think this guy's rehab.
Yeah, give us 20 more.
My
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah,
Right.
there's a problem in and of itself for a woman to want to open up their house for a man who's raped almost 100 women. There's something wrong there.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Assemblyman, Mike Antonovich made the comment that if Santa Clara Judge Brown wants him out and released so badly, he should take him to his house.
Yeah, I'm sure he has a guest house.
We could pitch in and get him a Murphy bed and set it all up.
I get that. And if you have no connection to the Antelope Valley, why in the heck is a Santa Clara judge, who I guarantee couldn't spell the AV until somebody told him,
Yeah.
hey, there's an opportunity for you to stick him out there in the desert, and nobody in your community will know. Why don't you do it? And he said, hey, that's a great idea, and he did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But we can't touch him except vocally and showing up and making as much noise as possible. But politically, this guy, how do you connect to him?
Well, I can guarantee he's gotten a boatload of letters and a boatload of phone calls.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's the start. But the other start is maybe legislatively to say that this guy never had any connection to our community.
Mm-hmm.
We all know, living out here in the desert, we've got enough of our people out here that we've got to take care of, and our deal. But we certainly don't want anybody else.
No.
Right. Well, the one message Judge Brown is getting is that he made a mistake and that the Antelope Valley is no joke.
No.
Okay? Because we're not going to take this.
Right.
No.
Not at all.
That's right. Well, I can tell you that one of the things that came out last night from a young lady that was very good. Lake LA is not just a desert community, but if you've ever driven out there, like I'm sure all of us have a million times, there aren't any street lights. There aren't many things that are lit up after dark.
No.
If a young lady out there gets her car broken down and she has to walk a little period, she's going to be in the dark. It's an easy place for these people to pray.
Right.
Well, from what I've read, there's a lot of single moms that match the profile that are living right there in that neighborhood.
Absolutely. That's one of the things we talked about was if you don't know your neighbor, get to know them.
Yeah, time.
We should do that anyway, yeah.
Right. Now, I'm hearing reports that the family, the individual that owns the home out there, is now reconsidering,
He better.
whether even to allow that. So maybe that would put a stop to it immediately.
Well, I guess they took people in, but they didn't know that they were going to get this type of a person. And so they were very upset when they found out that this guy was coming. But that's also something we've got to look into. I guess some of these people have contracts that take state people, and then when they find out that they're going to get some sort of sexually violent predator, they kind of have to take them. And maybe that's something we have to do count the law too.
Do you think the owner of that house is living out there with him?
Yeah.
Well, from what we understand last night, there is a landlord out there. So I don't know. I'm going out there on Saturday to discuss this with some of the people out there in the neighborhood. So it's a bad situation all the way around. There is not one thing that we can pull out of this.
Well, you're doing what you need to do, and thank you for that,
Yeah, we
Senator.
appreciate it.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, this is a collaborative effort. I think you're hearing the people that really make this thing go away are being very very vocal about this,
Right.
and we appreciate what you're doing there on the radio, Steve. I appreciate you calling me and having me on. This is of the highest importance for our valley.
Thanks, Senator. I appreciate it, and thanks for taking the time.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right. Have a great day. You're listening to AV Newscast on NewsTalk Radio 1380, and we'll be back in 2 minutes.
Frolic Beats.
There's a school in Palmdale that's become the talk of the town. It's called the Guidance Charter School, and many parents say it's magical. The Guidance Charter School is WASC certified, scored 783 in academic performance, and has an educational curriculum that exceeds what the state of California recommends. The curriculum is enriched through age-appropriate exposure for information technology, arts, foreign language such as Arabic, and physical education. The Guidance Charter School is now going to have a full CIF sports program with soccer, basketball, track, cheerleading, and more. They're an open enrollment school, publicly funded, and have been in business for 12 years, fully approved by Palmdale School District. The Guidance Charter School has small class sizes such as 20 students in grades K through 3, 25 in 4 through 8, and just 30 students in grades 9 through 12. Call the Guidance Charter School in Palmdale today at 661-272-1701. That's the Guidance Charter School in Palmdale, 661-272-1701. And check out their website at thegcs.org, a better high school choice.
Did you know that birthday parties help build confidence in kids?
Yeah. Did you know that giving kids less sugar before bedtime helps them sleep better?
Oh, totally. Did you know that friendly kids have more friends?
Everybody knows that.
Hey, guys, did you know that most people think they're using the right car seat for their kid, but they're not?
I didn't know that.
Parents who really know it all know for sure that their child is in the right car seat at the right age and size. Visit safercar.gov/the right seat to make sure your child is protected. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to AVNewsCast.com on NewsTalk 1380.
Hey, you know what's funny is Michael Stein's listening to the show right now.
Mm-hmm.
He has a great solution to this.
Oh, okay.
Michael's solution is let this guy move in and just have him move next door to Army Orchard. Just put him right there.
There you go. I thought he was going to take that new AR-15 that he's going to buy while he's on the air. And
That's on Friday.
Okay.
That's on Friday.
There's still time.
Let's bring Vladimir Gomez on the show, okay? Vladimir was on CNN last night. He started the original petition on change.org. We've watched that petition go from, in just a couple of days, 200, 250, and now over 1,000 signatures. Yes. Vladimir, good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me, Steve.
No, thank you. What made you, and I haven't asked you this yet, but what made you immediately jump on board on this and immediately, start the petition?
Well, what I saw first was a lot of posting on Facebook. Well, a lot of people know that I'm on Facebook, checking everything out, what's going on in our community, because that's what I do. I help many families with toys, clothing, food, and I see all that going on. And then I see a lot of posting on Facebook. I didn't pay attention to what was going on. I didn't know about his case until that day I started realizing, this guy is dangerous. He should not come to our community at all. Then I realized, I said, then I went to change.org, and I said, let me start a petition. I said maybe there will be maybe 50 or 100, but then I realized, well, we all need to take action. We all need to take action to this. Our voice needs to be heard.
Thank you. I so appreciate that.
No problem.
I really do.
Now, last night you were on CNN, and you were talking about this very topic.
Yes.
All right, and you guys took a lot of calls last night on CNN from all over the nation.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And the majority of those calls were not in favor of his release or anything.
Correct. They were not in favor because that has happened in many of their cities throughout the United States, and the judges haven't heard their voice. But we're a strong community. We're going to beat this. There will be victory in this, and we have our
trying to do this.
Yes, we have the whole community. We have our elected official, our Mayor James Ledford, our Senator Steve Knight, our Assemblyman Steve Fox. Everybody counts, and we're going to raise our voice, and they will hear us.
Okay, now you want to hear an opinion from a different side?
Yes.
Okay, let's bring on a caller right now. All right, let's take a different opinion. Hi, you are live on NewsTalk Radio.
Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Michelle.
Morning, Jeff.
Morning.
Hi.
Yes, I've heard Steve and Steve, both Assemblyman and State Senator.
Okay, now obviously, Michelle, you can hear that everybody says they don't want this guy around.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want him released. It's not just about having him released to the Antelope Valley or somewhere in L.A. County.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even want him let out. They just want to keep him and leave him there and let him just die in prison or in the hospital.
Please.
Well, unfortunately, we have to go by the law, okay?
Well, they're looking at that, too.
And we have to talk about constitutional law. I mean, if you want to talk about constitutional, we can go there. But they are going to come out into the community. And, I'm not giving this guy a pass. I'm not.
Sounds like it.
Well,
excuse me?
It sounds like, and you and I spoke earlier, and you said, he has received his treatment. It is okay that he's released now.
Wait. He's still going to continue getting treatment. That's the thing. That's what I was talking about. The last show, was about finding the sex offender, treatment providers. I'm trying to help this community. I am.
Okay. Now, he's had treatment in the past.
Right.
And he's been released. And then he immediately, within 48 hours, goes off and rapes. And he is definitely not your poster boy for recidivism.
No.
Okay? Because this guy has admitted to raping over 40 women, and as soon as he gets released, he immediately reoffends.
This is my question, Michelle. Isn't there somebody that's not worth the fight? Isn't there somebody that you really cannot do anything but keep them in jail, in the hospital? Isn't there going to be someone that you feel can't be helped?
Oh, that's an interesting question.
It is, because that would bring more credibility to your fight if there were people that you actually...
Personally speaking, a perpetrator that commits a child murder, You know, that I mean, and I have to separate myself, and you don't understand that, Angelina. I have to separate myself from my personal feelings to my professional feelings.
Okay, like as if you were a public defender.
I don't know how you can, though, because you still live in the same community. I mean, you're still a woman walking down the street subject to these types of individuals. You can't go jogging at night if you keep letting these kind of guys out in the street. You can't do it. Forget about the pit bulls. You got dudes that you want to let in our communities.
I understand that, and I'm very heartfelt on that. Okay, I mean, not only myself as a rape victim and yourself, but I also have another friend that is a rape victim of gang rape. Okay, and we've been talking about this, and she's very proactive in this on this topic, with Mr. Hubbart. But the thing is that my perspective is not intended to allow the perpetrators a pass, but to acquire some level of understanding and knowledge, which could help prevent the abnormalities.
Yeah, I get it, and I understand that he's twisted and should stay in jail or in the hospital. There's my knowledge. You don't need. I mean, he's been released countless times and has done the same thing. Him being 62 years old is not going to help us.
He's in his 60s. He's not going to get a prescription for Viagra.
Why not?
Okay.
He can use a rebar.
He can get it from Canada.
Oh, Jeff, come on, Jeff, speak up.
You know what,
He can
Michelle?
use rebar. He can use a broken bottle.
Michelle,
he doesn't need to have a functioning member to hurt somebody. It's about violence.
Michelle, there are over 40 victims, 40 women. Okay.
He has claimed 40. He has claimed 40.
I have seen reports as high as 100.
Some of these men and women, they deem themselves as being, successful in their victims. Okay, having so many victims. Well, where are the victims? Let the victims speak out.
Wow, really? They need to be more victimized, Michelle? Because that's what you need to hear? Let me speak for them. Let me be the one woman that speaks to them directly to you. That sick pervert needs to stay where he is, period. And I am so happy that we're surrounded by a bunch of men that want to stand up for women and our protection. Something's wrong with you.
No, something's not wrong with me.
Yes, there is. You're the only person that I know that takes this position. And it just blows my mind. It blows my mind.
I have to take this position.
No, you don't.
Angelina, I walk the walk.
Oh, no, you don't. You're walking our walk. You're advocating danger for us.
I'm not advocating danger for you.
I believe you are.
No, I'm not.
To have this gentleman released.
No, as long as we have the services, and as long as Liberty is there and healthcare, and I told you that, Steve, get somebody from Liberty Healthcare because they're the ones behind this, as well as the judge, get the judge, and to get a parole officer. I have 3 retired parole agents as my partners. 3. Okay, and we offer. Wait a second. We offer the services for this man, for this individual. And we're going to welcome him back into society. I have no choice in it.
What would be the difference between now and the past times then? How is now, is he going to change?
We're waiting for the next victim.
He's been in Kalinga for 20 years.
Yeah, he's been incarcerated before for periods of time, supposedly getting treatment as well.
He was the first SVP. I mean, he was the poster boy for SVP.
Right.
You're making my argument.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Michelle. Look. We talked about, for instance, yesterday. You called me. Yesterday, you called me, and Richard Stein was on the line, who just copped a plea, and who is going to be sentenced to 30 years to life. All right.
Okay, that's not right.
Hear me out. Hear me out for a minute, okay? And wait a minute. And that was an individual that, look, we understand he made a mistake, and we get that. But this guy, hold on. But this guy, Hubbart, okay, is not, and Richard Stein was bad. This guy is not Richard Stein. Hubbart is a mutant that is going to come out. He is going to be released, and he is going to recommit. He is going to harm another individual and scar them for life, and we don't want him released.
And if he does do that, okay, if he does it, he needs to be put away for life, and he will be.
Really? How many times do we have to do that before we do it?
Excuse me. The judge made the decision.
Okay. Do you want to be the person that says "I told you so"?
Right.
Okay.
Or do you
Oops, I made a mistake.
To the next victim? After sitting,
that's why Steve, we talked yesterday with Richard Stein. You're right, we did. That's a very sensitive case to me. Very sensitive.
I understand.
Because he was my poster boy, as you say. All right, there was a lot of failures along the way. That's why we need to eliminate the barriers, okay, between community-based organizations and parole and probation.
No, we don't.
I say we
excuse me?
Barriers are important, yes. Because the credibility of these people, they have an appetite to involve themselves, but they are not responsible for the consequence. That's the problem. That's the problem with advocating for this guy. Because you're not going to be responsible when he does reoffend. You're going to say, oops, he broke my heart.
I will be. I will be.
Yeah, but all you're going to say is I made a mistake.
Yeah.
And it's another person.
Don't judge the whole thing by...
You know what? I was talking yesterday via text with a listener that had been raped many years ago, that's been listening to our show for a couple of days now, and wants to call in and talk about... Listen.
And who was she raped by?
Listen.
What difference does it make?
Let me finish. And wants to call in and talk about what she went through, but she cannot bring herself to do that. She can't because she falls apart. And you know what? I'm thinking about the other 40 women out there that this man has completely damaged.
Tore apart.
Okay?
Tore apart.
That ripped their hearts out, and they go around every single day carrying that with them. That's hard to drag with you every day.
And that's why, victim mediation, victim offender mediation is so important. So important. And we talked about that, Steve.
But we don't want any more victims. I am so glad.
I don't want any more victims either. That's why I've been talking about prevention and intervention. I have still not seen one thing between Palmdale and Lancaster, okay, on sex offenses. Okay?
What are you talking about?
I haven't seen one iota of information out there. We have Halloween coming up here.
Yep.
Okay?
We do.
Lancaster has Operation, has the Halloween ordinance.
Right.
All right? We have not once talked about Operation Boo or Halloween. What to look out for.
Well, actually, Jeff mentioned that we're one day away from that. But you know what, Michelle?
You are one day away from it.
Right.
You are. And that's what I'm all about. I'm about prevention and intervention.
I think you're talking out of both sides of your mouth, Michelle.
Excuse me?
One hand you say it's not necessary, the other hand you saying trust me. And that's not going to work.
Excuse me?
No, excuse you.
Excuse me, statistics show that. Can you show me statistics?
Exactly.
Show me.
Hubert's statistics show that every time he is out amongst the community, he recommits and reoffends.
That's his personal...
Okay, and those
he's
are...
in his 60s now.
His mind isn't.
But let's go by statistics, okay? Those are the stats on this individual, that he absolutely, every single time, 100% of the time, recommits and reoffends. Those are the facts.
But the facts are this now. Not only is there one psychiatrist, 2 psychiatrists that have deemed him being safe to come back into the public, and a judge,
That's on a Bell scale.
The judge...
It's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. I don't think so.
The judge, you know what? The judge is just looking at paperwork. He has not sat down and interviewed this guy. And on top of it, I don't even care what the doctors have to say. It doesn't mean anything to me. It's their job to say they did their job, and now they want to release him.
Yeah, they got to clear up a bed.
Yeah. And the other ones in the community want some more patience.
There aren't many times that we've been doing this show for as many years as we have that I have been as proud as I am today to be a part of the Antelope Valley and this community that is all rallied together to keep this individual out.
Oh, wait a second. And I'm proud to be part of this community, too.
Good.
All right, and I am all about public safety. I mean, we have 80 East Kern Second Chance has 3 retired parole agents.
I understand that.
With 75 years total of experience with CBCR.
Okay, and I get what you're trying to do for certain individuals. I get it. Okay, but here's the thing, Michelle. What would have made you more credible in presenting a compelling argument was to be able to say, you know what, there are some instances where these people can't be fixed, and this is one of them.
Sure enough.
Okay? I understand that you want to advocate for a guy that was wrongly convicted. I understand that. I understand that you want to advocate for a guy who is now a registered 290 sex offender because he peed behind a trash can. I'll get that. But when you talk about an individual who has raped 40 women, I don't see how you can get behind that.
I can't, listen, and I told you, my personal feelings, I have to keep aside.
Okay, what are your personal feelings?
My personal feelings is he should be kept in there.
Thank you.
Okay, so speak on that, Michelle.
Thank you.
Speak on that as a woman and as someone that has personal...
Angelina, I was raped, okay? I was raped.
Okay,
and I'm not going to go into it. I have a friend. I have a friend that was gang raped.
And Michelle, we've had
my personal feelings is, he should be kept locked up. You know,
then quit advocating the other side.
Then you know what?
Take a stand.
This is one time you've got to go from the heart, and you've got to really stand up and say, these are my feelings. I don't believe this man should be released, because you're right when you say that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would hurt your cause either.
No.
Because the public defender end, to just say it for a paycheck and say I've got to go ahead and advocate. Hear me out, okay? Because that's what a public defender does. He's out there. He knows his client is guilty. He knows his client is raped and murdered, but he's still out trying to provide them with a defense. Mm-hmm. I have a problem with that. I do know we have a justice system, but I have a problem with you saying this man is fine now.
This man has been determined, okay, by 2 psychiatrists and a judge to be released.
Michelle, when he was released the first time, he was deemed okay by 2 psychiatrists and a judge, and they were wrong.
But this is just a repeat. But things have changed over the years. You have to understand that.
I don't think so.
Yes, you have to understand that. We have California.
No, I don't think we have to understand that. I think the community's outraged. And you advocating for this, I think, turns that outrage to you.
Mm-hmm. Hey, you can turn your outrage to me as well.
Exactly, because you don't have it. There's no consequence to you.
What do you mean there's no consequence to me?
What's your consequence?
Excuse me, if there's a victim of this man,
really?
Believe me, there's a consequence.
And then what are you going to do to the victim?
Believe me, I feel for my client, Richard Stein.
You're doing more for your client than you would for the victim.
Excuse me, I would be there for the victim.
Really?
Yeah, if I knew who she was. She wasn't identified.
You got 40 of them out there. You can go find one of them.
Excuse me?
This man has admitted to raping 40 women. There are 40 women right now that carry that scar around every single day.
I'm not advocating for. You have to understand this, Steve. I'm not advocating for this man and condoning for what he did.
Okay.
Okay? I'm not.
Okay. You're advocating that he has been treated.
I'm advocating for the fact that 2 psychiatrists and a judge has determined him to be safe to be returned to society. They're going to come out whether we like it or not. I sent you an email, okay, with all the stats and everything, how many SVPs have been released in LA County. All right?
Okay.
So, I mean, and unfortunately you didn't read that. But I'm not advocating for what he has done. I'm not condoning that.
Okay,
all right?
so...
But for what the psychiatrists have determined, he is safe to return to society. If he has been deemed safe to return to society, that's fine. A judge has determined that. He's going to be released.
But, Michelle, we don't need to talk about that because he's been deemed acceptable to be released to society twice before. So to make that an argument, it's being heard on deaf ears because it means nothing.
I mean, he's coming out. Angelina, he's coming out regardless.
No. The position that we need to take as a community
he's not coming out here.
Is one that we don't want him to come out. So we need to have one voice that is all saying to the judge and to the system, do not let him out, period. Not, oh, we got to deal with this because we're forced with it. No, that's not acceptable. We have to say, no, that is not, that's intolerable, and we're not having it. Not, we got to work it out. That's crazy.
And I understand that, Angelina. I do. I understand that.
So I want you to get behind us on this.
Personally, I understand that, but constitutionally, we have to look at the law.
You're killing me with the Constitution. You're killing me with it.
We have to look at the law, though.
Okay. And everybody is looking at the law, and I can say that if Assemblyman Fox, Senator Steve Knight, Mayor Ledford, and anybody else in the Antelope Valley and our LA County Board of Supervisors have anything to say about it, he won't be released. And if, in fact, he is, he's definitely not going to be released in a county of L.A. Let him go somewhere. Let him move next door to Judge Brown's house.
Or the psychiatrist. He can live with them.
Yeah, that's even better, okay? Because when he gets out, Michelle, he's going to recommit. He's going to reoffend. And there's going to be another...
You're talking about the might. You're talking about the probability.
100% of the time. 100% of the time. This man has shown 100% of the time, every time he's out walking the street, he rapes another woman.
We know his character. It's not it's not a gray area.
This is the one area where we could gain credibility, Michelle.
Pardon?
But we're not.
Excuse me?
We could gain credibility. I'm talking to you. We could gain credibility if you could just find somebody that you could be opposed to being released.
Because you said,
Jim, I am opposed to some people being released.
Really? I can't find that line. Must be way out there because this guy, I can't think of anybody more horrible than this guy. If anybody should be able to agree, it should be this one.
Jim, what about the murderers, the ones that commit murder against children?
Okay,
we don't want them either.
Let's not talk about.
Let's focus on what the task at hand.
Jim, I have my personal feelings.
Well, what scares me about you, your personal feelings get put on hold while you advocate for something I don't understand. How can you advocate 100% of the time for these types of people to be released?
Jim, they have been treated.
Oh, please.
Jim,
that doesn't work.
Jim, excuse me,
not
Jim.
working for me.
I have been before you, okay? I have spoken to you. I have spoken to the council. All right? We have talked about SCPs. We've talked about sex offenders. We've talked about defining the crime.
We've talked about eliminating restrictions on these people, and that's, I got to tell you, not a very good discussion.
And excuse me, I saved Palmdale a lot of money.
Oh, I don't believe that.
Really? Jim,
by not suing them?
Let's not go there.
Yeah, by not suing us. Thank you. I want to thank you for that, by the way.
Jim, what?
Exactly. By not suing us, I want to thank you for that.
For saving you money?
No, for not suing us.
Yeah, that's how you save the money, by not suing us.
I think that was very righteous of me.
Self-righteous, maybe.
Okay.
It was righteous of me for coming on that approach.
No, okay? I don't. Well, I don't agree.
Lancaster is different than Palmdale. Trust and believe me.
That's for sure.
Believe me.
Okay.
I mean, we don't have to have that discussion on the radio. But I will say this: I have my personal feelings.
Then talk
but
to
I
it.
also have my professional feelings. Reentry is very important. We have to discuss reentry.
Well, not with this guy.
Okay. Let's just talk about your personal feelings when it comes to this guy being released, and leave it at that note. That that you don't want him personally, your heart says you don't want him released. Just tell me that.
Personally,
yes.
My personal feelings.
Yes.
No, I don't want him released.
Okay, don't say another word. Let's just leave it right at that. I like that much better.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I mean,
it shows some humanity there.
It's very heartfelt to me because, you know, Angelina and I have talked. I have a friend that was gang raped and everything. I've been there. I've done that. I went through that myself.
Okay. And we've had callers call into the show that talked about being raped, that discussed, that talked about their rape, and today they're advocating for treatment for sexual violent predators. Today they're advocating for treatment of sex offenders. I don't get that. If I was raped, I would advocate for a firing squad for every single one of them.
Yeah. I've been advocating
it just speaks to it speaks to their rape, and it's more rape. It's more brokenness. It's just how broke they are that you can get to the point where you want to advocate the person who's committed that violence.
You know, one of the last times Hubbart was caught, and we didn't have technology back then, but there was a woman standing at a bus stop. Hubbart had just raped a woman in an alley. He was running out of that alley and ran by the bus stop, and there was a woman at the bus stop. That woman called the police because he had raped her years prior.
What are the chances of that?
Yeah.
Okay? Think about that.
Just on the loose.
We don't want that.
That's why, prevention and intervention
The prevention is to
so
keep them in, though.
important. It is so important, and reporting the crime.
All right.
Okay, there's so many crimes, so many sexual offenses that are not reported, and Jim and I talked about that, and Noel Dorn and I talked about that. There are so many crimes that are not reported.
Well, these 40 were, and it's a track record.
You know what? I'll tell you something. Okay? And I mentioned it earlier. I've got a listener who I've been communicating with who has been raped. She's been listening to our show. She'd like to call in, but she can't. And I get that 100%, and I really don't want her to. But she's texting me.
She's my friend.
Yeah, she's. I don't know about that, but let me just finish. And she's texting me right now saying this man must not be released. Okay, and this individual, Hubbart, did not rape her. But imagine the other 40 women, what they would have to say in their voices.
They're in the closet somewhere.
Okay?
Exactly. But there has to, when we talk about the victim, we do have to talk about the victim. Okay?
The victim trumps anything, any argument you have concerning this guy.
Victim awareness is so important, Stephen, Jeff, and Angelina, and Jim. Okay? That is so important. And reporting the crime. Because if the crime isn't reported, then the guy is, the individual, whether it be a man or woman, is going to keep continuing.
All right.
The thing is, you've talked about murderers and stuff as that being like the line that you draw, but you compare this guy to like Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy's victims, they're not suffering anymore. What this guy does, they have to carry with them for the rest of their life.
Ball and chain.
Yep.
Ted Bundy's victims are dead and gone. Right. Rapists are worse.
Right. Completely different. Michelle, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it. We're out of time.
Thanks, Michelle.
All right. Thank you, Angela.
Thanks.
Bye, Jim. Bye,
All
everybody.
right. We've only got one more minute. Mayor Ledford and Vladimir, I want to thank you both for being here. Okay, and Vladimir, for all that you're trying to do for the community. I think it's great.
Good work. Good work.
Yes.
I really do.
Michelle, sign this petition.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I would like, is a signature on the petition. Thanks for listening to the show today, and thanks for making us the #1 News Talk radio program in the Antelope Valley. We will be going out live today to Lake LA with John and Ken, and we'll be back on the show tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Thanks.